Okay, we're here on the Serb-Romanian border, which is the Danube. We've just had a pretty interesting week on the ride. It's been really good. A bit of tough riding the last couple of days, but probably started off in Hungary where we had a day off and we decided to go to an authentic Turkish bath. And it was a bit more authentic than the one I'd been to in Hungary before. We walked in and they gave you this virtually tea towel which covers the front but nothing of the back. So we all had to peek our head in the room into the baths and see what we were supposed to do with it. So we worked that out, we went in, and then I got a bit of affection from a German man who I think was pretty interested in us. And then after we were in the baths for a bit doing the hot and cold pools, we ended up going into the sleeping room. And we slept in there for maybe an hour, hour and a half in this really comfortable room on these really comfortable mattresses. And John woke up at one stage and the German guy was standing there staring at us. So that was pretty interesting. And then after that we headed out across Hungary and we finished the day, pretty hectic day. There was heaps of thunderstorms, we're getting really wet. And we asked at this fishing village or recreational fishing place they call it, whether we can camp or we'll eat in the restaurant if they let us camp. And they said, yeah, sure, that's fine, that's fine. And then when we went to leave the next day, after Timmy had 3 punches, the first 2 were legitimate, the second one, when he was doing the pumping it back up, he ripped the valve off. They said, oh, your camping wasn't free. And initially we thought it was just a bit of lost in translation. But he ended up wanting to charge us €50, which is ridiculous. So we eventually just refused to pay, said we had no money, and they let us go. I think he was virtually just trying to rip us off. So it was good, we got away from that unscathed. Then we headed to Novi Sad, which is across the Hungarian-Serbia border. We got through the border all okay. The border officials loved us because they wanted to know where we were going after Serbia, so we told them Melbourne and they laughed. But then we got to Novi Sad. Novi Sad's probably the equivalent of like a Ballarat or Geelong, like a regional town, and it was really good. Heaps of young people went out a few nights, a few Serbian guys showed us around, and we were meant to do 80 k's the next day, so we thought we could maybe have a few drinks, but we ended up getting home about 6 o'clock, and a few of the boys were really struggling the next day. So the 80 k's, instead of being about 3.5 hours, turned into about 5 hours. And it was the first place that we could get borek, which is, I love it. It's a really thick pastry that they have for breakfast, filled with cheese or meat. Timmy doesn't like it too much because it upsets his stomach in the morning, but I really like it. It's a bit heavy. And then on the way out of Novi Sad towards Belgrade, we're having a bit of trouble getting out of cities at the moment, and Timmy was at the back of this stage, and he usually should wear glasses, so we followed the one road that we were meant to out of Novi Sad, and somehow Timmy got about 100-200 metres back, and he saw other cyclists, which he just assumed it was us because he gets a bit of blurry vision too far ahead of him. So we ended up having about a half an hour rest until Timmy worked out that the road he was on was going total opposite direction. He worked out and he came back, so he did about 5 extra k's for the day, which was pretty funny. Then we got to Belgrade, had a look around there, and it's a really nice city. On the outskirts it doesn't look like too much, but once you get in there, the restaurant districts and the river area and the old military area look really nice. Sting was actually playing a concert there in a couple of days, and we ended up going to the military museum, which was pretty interesting from a Yugoslav perspective, but didn't really have anything on any of the wars after 1985, so that was a bit disappointing. And at the moment we're making our way to Romania, so we're going along the Danube. It's a bit hillier than at other times. We've had to move away from the Danube on the highways and freeways, and in some areas the Danube pretty much goes in between a number of mountains. So we're finding they're going a bit tougher now, but pretty much after we get through this stage we head into eastern Serbia and Romania, which is our last country before we get to the Black Sea. So that'll be next week. Thanks.